Welcome back to Hear Me Out Audiology. Today we have a very special guest that I'm going to introduce, and then we will get into our questions for Dr. Jasmine. Dr. Jasmine Simmons is an audiologist based in Florida. She earned her doctorate of audiology from Central Michigan University in 2020 and subsequently started her career as a clinical audiologist. Passionate about fostering connections and supporting within the audiologist community, she founded or co-founded the Black Audiologists United group on Facebook, uniting Black audiologists globally. Not only is Dr. Jasmine dedicated to her profession, but she also has recently added the title of children's book author to her accomplishments with Extraordinary Jordyn and her Bionic Ears. Her impactful contributions to the field of audiology and commitment to mentoring students and new graduates mark her as a truly influential figure in her field. Welcome, Dr. Jasmine.
Thank you for having me. It's absolutely a pleasure to be on this podcast, and I'm excited to chat more with you.
Perfect. So we can get started with the first question, which everyone probably wants to know. Just tell us a little bit about your journey into audiology and what led you to become who you are today.
Yeah, so I was born profoundly deaf, and at the age of 2, I received my cochlear implant, which helps me hear. And at the age of 7, I was diagnosed with a condition called retinitis pigmentosa, which causes nighttime vision loss and peripheral vision loss. So, as I was 13 and I was just in the car having a little, child crisis. I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. And my mom mentioned, like, why not audiology? And ever since then, it just stuck with me. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be an audiologist. And it just made sense. I personally, have hearing loss and I wanted to help people. So I ended up going to University of Akron for my undergraduate degree, graduate from Central Michigan with my doctoral degree. In about my mid 20s, I was actually diagnosed with a condition called Usher syndrome, which it impacts your hearing, vision, and balance. So that was the cause of my hearing loss, and what honestly just truly inspired me to go into audiology.
Wow, that's very interesting that you have such a personal connection to it. Um, just kind of going back into what brought you to it and with your mom kind of recommending it. Did you, um, I guess obviously having hearing loss, you've had audiologists, but can you think of like someone that really was influential for you to wanting to stay in the field of audiology?
Oh yeah, I had a few audiologists growing up, but one, her name is Dr. Cindy Warner. She was phenomenal. Pretty much, I had her from like when I was 2 or 3 up until I was about 21, and she was really instrumental in me going to audiology. It was just our relationship was amazing, so it definitely inspired me to go into audiology as well.
That's awesome. It's always nice to have someone that like you can think back to, like they helped me, so that's why I really want to help other people too. So that's awesome to
Exactly.
have. Yeah. And you mentioned that you were diagnosed with Usher syndrome in your 20s. Can you tell us a little bit more about what Usher syndrome is and how you got that diagnosis?
hmm So, Usher syndrome affects your hearing, vision, and balance. As I mentioned, I was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa at the age of 7, and my vision just progressively gotten worse as I gotten older. And at the age of 28, which was actually last year, I was diagnosed as legally blind. And it there's things I can see and there's things I cannot see. Right now, like I can see the computer screen, I can see, us talking, but then like beneath me, like I can't see my hands or,
Mm.
I can't really see on the side. So it's a very interesting eye condition.
Yeah, that's something that you read about in textbooks in class, but it's that having someone like you who is a mentor to many people and just like very accessible and just teaching us about Usher syndrome, I think it's a very neat experience to have someone that can explain it in a personal perspective. So I appreciate you telling us more about that. So, as an audiologist with Usher syndrome, can you share your journey or how it has been working in a clinical setting? And do you see other patients that also have Usher syndrome?
Yeah, so, as an audiologist, I work with hearing loss every day. So that side of Usher syndrome, it's pretty neat to be able to empathize with patients and just be able to, tell patients, like, I get it. It is a struggle, but, let's figure out some strategies. Here's some strategies that work for me as a person with hearing loss. Let's try to figure out a strategy that will may work for you, and if not, we'll work together. And that relief on their face, knowing that someone, their healthcare professional, is also going through it and understands. I think that's just so important, and it makes my job enjoyable just to be able to help patients navigate their own hearing loss and their hearing journeys.
Think that that's a pretty great, feeling to have that you can relate to a patient on that level because I know me, as much as I try to relate to patients with hearing loss, obviously I've never experienced it, so it's really hard to relate on that level. Even though, I do as best as I can to try to make sure that they get the accommodations that they need or that they have the proper, amplification or whatever communication needs that they can get met. I try to do it my best, but obviously not knowing what it's like to be in their shoes. It's difficult sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fact that, you're trying your best. That's all that matters, just being able to just empathize with patients and, just helping them throughout their journey. So we need more people like us out there.
Hmm. So I kind of covered the next question, which was how has your firsthand understanding of Usher syndrome influenced your approach to patient care, and then to support the individuals who have maybe similar challenges.
So, definitely, just being able to relate. Um, And, when it comes to counseling, I feel like if a person has hearing loss on one side, I feel like I'm very mindful. I'm like, okay, so they can't hear well out of their right ear. Let me position them to their left side. So I'm sitting on their left side so that way I'm talking to their better ear. I always make sure I look at my patients while counseling. Sometimes we tend to look at the computer screen while we counsel, try to
Hmm.
explain the test results. So I always try to position myself where they can see my mouth and the screen at the same time. Um, those are some of the strategies I utilize because, I know I need those accommodations. So I try to make sure my patients get any accommodations that I'm able to provide for them.
And what's your general population that you see at your current place of work?
So I work at a nonprofit clinic, and I see all ages, from several weeks up until 9,900. So it's pretty wide.
Do you find any particular challenges working in those different age ranges, or do you find that you like some more than others, just on a personal audiology level?
Yeah, so I usually I don't mind working with all ages. I I I think I enjoy working with adults, but I do really love working with children, and every time a cute kiddo comes through the clinic, I'm just like, "Oh my god, they're so cute." So I do enjoy working with kids as well, but I think mainly adults, I would say.
Okay. Me too. I'm right there with you. I used to love the kids. I do love them still, but it's hard to work with kids all day long. So
Yeah,
I get
I
that.
prefer just a little sprinkle, a
Hmm.
kid here, kid there, not like boom, boom, boom.
Right. Well, on the topic of kids, you recently became a children's book author. Congratulations.
Thank
Um,
you.
Tell us, what does this journey mean to you, and how do you feel that it's going to start to change the field of audiology?
Being an author is so rewarding. This journey was just, it was a lot that I did not know that went into writing a children's book.
Hmm.
Honestly, like what inspired me was my legally blind diagnosis. And I wanted to do something, and writing a children's book, representation among children was very important to me because I didn't have that growing up. And at that moment when I was diagnosed, I knew it was time to write a children's book. And it's my baby. It was definitely something that helped me heal, just navigating my vision loss journey.
Hmm. And so I have a copy of my book here. I'm very excited to have it. I was saving it for this so that I could have it for our interview, but it's going in my office next week, so it will be on full display once this is all finished. But just tell us a little bit about extraordinary Jordyn and her bionic ears. Tell us a little bit about her and her story.
Yeah, so this is a story about a young girl who has hearing loss. She has a cochlear implant and hearing aid, and she learns how to overcome adversity by utilizing her confidence. And it's the name of the story actually was inspired by a young girl that I met. Her name was Jordyn, and at the time, she actually had a hearing aid and a cochlear implant.
Oh
So,
wow.
and she was having a difficult time navigating her hearing loss. So, it, it was named after her, and actually some parts of the story is kind of relatable to my own personal experiences, so it's just
Mm.
a combination of a few things and all into that story.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's a great read. I did read it, but I'm not gonna spoil it. I want people to buy it and support you. So they're gonna have to buy the book to know what it's about. But I truly like, this was like, I couldn't wait to pre-order it. When it came on pre-order, I was like, click, I'm gonna buy this now. And then I just love that she's a little black girl with curly hair and like all the colors. I love it. So I am
Thank
I
you.
am very, very, very excited for you and to see where this goes. Now, do you think that this is just the first installment of many books, or what are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, for sure. So the series is actually called the Usher Syndrome series. So one of my missions is to spread awareness about Usher syndrome. So my very first book was about hearing loss. My next book actually will not feature Jordyn in it, but it is going to be about vision loss.
Mm.
And then my third book is about balance, and then my fourth book will cover the Usher syndrome. And my goal is, as I meet different children, I'm going to use their names in the stories, and so that way they can see themselves in the book and their in the stories.
That's awesome. I can't wait. That's the first I'm hearing of this, so so I'm excited. I can't wait. I do think that everyone should go and buy this book. Can you let them know? And obviously, we'll post, the links for them. But where can they purchase this book from?
You can purchase this book from my website at drdrjasminesimmons.com, or you can is also available to purchase on Amazon for paperback. On my website is hardback.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm excited. I can't wait for the next ones to come out. And I think that you're really going to make a big change in the field of audiology. Not you're going to, like, you're already doing that, because I mean, there's not stuff like this out there really on the market for children to see themselves, but then also for other people to learn about these different things, that us as audiologists, we're learning in school about. So I think that this you're doing an amazing job, and your Instagram page is popping. I got all the content on there, so I really do, like, genuinely. I appreciate you because it helps me to stay aware for things that I need to be, up on as an audiologist.
I appreciate that, and I love your page as well. I'm constantly learning from your page as well, and I love your posts as sharing your personal experiences as an audiologist. And I think it's definitely important to spread representation and awareness about audiology.
Hmm.
So absolutely love that you're doing this podcast as well. So thank you for doing this.
Thanks. So, kind of wrapping things up, just to kind of close things out and just learn a little bit more. If you could give advice to someone who's watching this, who may see themselves in you, or may want to become an audiologist, or even an author, what are some things that you would tell them, and just kind of give them some hope and inspiration?
So when I was in undergrad, I was told no. I was told that, I should change my major and do something else. And this has been the goal of mine for years. And here
Mm-hmm.
someone is telling me I should change my dream because of a grade. And now I'm an audiologist, I'm an author, I'm a doctor. So don't ever let anyone tell you no. And if you feel like you are struggling, don't hesitate to ask for help. We're here. There's a bunch of us that are out there that are willing to help you. So just keep your head up and reach out for encouragement and any help.
Well, that's awesome. I hope that people are able to learn more about, Usher syndrome, audiology, and all the things alike. Also, I hope that everyone goes and buys your book because it is worth it. And I think they should get the hard copy. They should go direct to the website and get it. But either way, I think that they're gonna really be able to learn a lot, through you. I'm excited to see the next installments, the next parts of the series. So, learning all of those different pieces is going to be really interesting to see, and I'm excited for that. I do want to say thank you so, 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 so much, Dr. Jasmine, for just sharing your wisdom and taking your time in the evening to come on and talk with us and talk with me and share more about your experience. Where can people follow you? Where can they kind of stay connected with you? What can they do to keep up with you?
Yeah, so I am on Instagram at Dr. Jasmine Simmons or Dr. Jasmine Simmons. And it's just DR, everything. Same on Facebook. So you can always reach out to me if you have any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I am excited to see where everything goes for you. And, when you become a billionaire, I'm going to call you back on to the podcast to see if you have any more wisdom then. So it won't be long, hopefully. But
Thank you so much for having me this evening, and I absolutely had fun.
all right. All right, everyone. Well, that's all we got. Hear me out because we got a lot to talk about.